We're recording.
Hi. Once again, we're resuming the Veterans in Politics International Candidate Interview for 2014. At this time, we have State Assembly District 34, and we have Victoria. I was going to say, I'm looking at these other names. So Victoria Seaman is present, and we've already introduced the panelist earlier today, and at this time, I'll turn the floor over to Victoria.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to get your endorsement. I am running for State Assembly District 34. I'm a businesswoman with over 23 years of business experience. I got involved with politics in 2009 when I saw the economic downturn. I spent a couple of years volunteering for different campaigns and doing a lot of community service throughout the years that I've had my own business. It allowed me the opportunity to do that. I am a wife of a veteran, a daughter of a veteran, and veterans are very important issues to me. I'm a mother of my daughter who's now in college, and I'm a mother of 3 dogs. My education was in aesthetics because I spent 23 years in the spa industry, and brought a bath and body manufacturing business here to Nevada, grew that and sold it, and when I got involved with politics, I went back and got my degree in political science.
All right, this time we'll start with the panel on my far left, and Michael will take over.
Hi, Mrs. Seaman. Thanks for being here. You always say we need to strengthen the Nevada economy and provide better, more paying jobs, more jobs, I'm sorry. How do you plan to make this happen specifically? Please use examples.
Well, as a former businesswoman, I understand that mostly politicians campaign on creating jobs, but it really is the small businesses that create jobs. And I believe that politicians cannot create jobs, but they can stifle or incentivize businesses. And this is, where I feel I can contribute quite a bit, especially if I am on a commerce committee or even if I'm not, but to help help legislators to understand what it takes for small businesses to create jobs.
Okay, I guess all right. Thank you for showing up, Victoria. I know your 2 other candidates decided not to. So let me just give you this opportunity just to explain to everybody what makes you different than the 2 opponents that didn't show up.
Well, there is a lot of things that make us different. They support a lot more taxes for education, which is one of the things that I don't support. I don't think hardworking Nevadans need more taxes right now. We really need to look at the accountability of where the money's going. So that's one of the main things that differentiates me with my opponents. I've spent 25 years successfully in the business world, and that's basically what separates us.
Thank you for coming. I know that there's going to be a bill presented this time around regarding the guns for those that have lawful concealed weapons permits to be on university and college campuses. Is that something you're in support of?
Yes, I'm very much in support of those who have CCW permits, that they be allowed to carry on campus. One of the reasons for that is because criminals don't always go by the law as law-abiding citizens, and as we know, we had someone that was killed on a campus and some in Reno, and might have been prevented if the prior rape victim was able to carry her gun because she had a CCW permit. I spent many nights in both CSN and UNLV campuses, and I have a CCW, and I cannot carry a gun on campus. And as I said, criminals do not always follow the law. In fact, they are, gun-free zones are targets for criminals.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I have a two-part question. The first part is, what is your position on the driver authorization card? And the second part is, would you propose, if elected, any new laws that would add fairness or similar programs to other groups of people?
Okay, the driver card, meaning the, those who are here without green cards. I would like to hear more about that on both ends, because it's a very interesting argument. I would like to have people on the road that have driver's licenses, regardless if we're not enforcing our federal laws. We need to protect our state and our citizens. So by having a driver's license gives the opportunity to have auto insurance. So I would like to really see more of the pros and cons on that issue before I make a definitive answer.
Good afternoon, Victoria. My focus here the last 2 days has been on civil liberties. A lot of states are putting forth legislation that kind of bugs the federal government's overreach as far as spying programs, detention programs, etc. Would you be supportive of using the state legislature as a way to provide protection for civil liberties for Nevadans?
Absolutely, and I think it's our right.
Thank you for coming, Eric Morelli. The question I have to you comes, once you're elected, I understand that you have things you want to accomplish as a legislature, but talking to the people of District 34, what are their concerns and what do they want to see happen from their representative?
Yeah, the main thing that the constituents of District 34 have are unemployment. They're still very concerned about unemployment. A big one is underwater housing. A lot of HUD housing in my district has brought down prices in the district. The other concern that they have, believe it or not, is the Affordable Care Act. Now, I know that that's a federal issue, but we did implement it on a state level. So these are concerns from all parties. This isn't a bipartisan, partisan issue. It's a bipartisan issue. So and a lot of the constituents want legislators to go up and legislate on more ways to help the housing industry. And we have done that. And I think that some of that legislation has prevented us from getting our housing market back to where it should be, like it has in other states like Arizona. So I know there's things in the legislature that we can do to help with the housing. One of them is getting people back to work and getting the economy moving so our young people and first-time buyers can go out and purchase homes, can afford to purchase homes. So I'm really concentrating on helping small businesses, incentivizing them to hire people and get people back to work.
How you doing? Thank you for coming. You guys already covered my questions in the past.
Your website says you have proven job creator record. Can you elaborate on that, and what are you going to do in the legislature if you're elected to bring that skill?
Thank you. Yes, I spent over 25 years in the spa industry where I created jobs, and when I moved to Nevada, I brought a bath and body manufacturing company, which I grew here and then eventually sold in 2009, and I created jobs throughout those 25 years, both in California and in Nevada. And with that experience, when I see legislation in front of me that stifles businesses rather than incentivize them, I have the experience to explain how it will, how it won't create new jobs. And that's the experience that I'm going to bring to the legislature.
Hi, good afternoon. So I hear a lot of talk about bringing new jobs, and I think that's very important, but I think the core always comes back to education. And do you have any ideas, maybe 2 or 3 that you can mention now, that would help us enforce the legislation that is now in place, and maybe something that you might want to propose for the future?
I think that the way to improve education at this point, I've read studies from the Board of Education, and it is clear that more money doesn't show good test results. It just doesn't correlate. So what we are doing here is we keep throwing more money at it. We're not looking at real solutions, and I think we need a legislative body that really looks at accountability and where the funds are going, misappropriation. I think we also need to look at the school district. It's the 5th largest in the nation. It's huge, it's monstrous. We need to look at perhaps breaking it up. We also need to look at rewarding good teachers. I think that having teacher tenure can also not be such a good thing at times, because we are not rewarding the good teachers and we're allowing bad teachers to teach our children.
Okay, thank you for being here. Since Brian passed, I'm going to ask a 2-part question. First one is our margins tax. Would you please elaborate on that if you're in favor or opposed? And then also campus carry, please.
Okay, as far as the margins tax, this is going to be a disaster. It's going on the ballot, and if it passes, it will be a disaster for our state. It taxes 2% off the gross of any small business making $1 million or more. Sounds like a lot of money, but as a business owner, I know that we work on very small profit margins, if profit margins at all, for the first 5 years in the business. And restaurants, it's easy to gross $1 million. But when all the costs go out, they're making very small profit margin. This will not only put a lot of small businesses out of business, but it will kill jobs in Nevada. Again, going back to why I don't support it, because there's no accountability for where that money will go if it does pass. And as I stated before, there's no correlation to schools doing better who are spending more money. So I am not for the margins tax, because I think it will be a disaster for our state. As far as the campus carry bill, I would support a campus carry bill, as I answered earlier, because I think that it's a gun-free zone, and it's very dangerous for the average citizen to be, especially women, to be walking around at night, as we know, since we've had a murder from it and an actual rape up in Reno. So I think it will be very beneficial. I think that criminals are going to carry on campus regardless, and we need to keep our law-abiding citizens safe.
Victoria, thanks very much for coming. We really appreciate it. Excuse me. So one of the things that has been brought to my attention is that there's like a war in the state of Nevada, like the North versus the South, literally, and it's almost like there's 2 different states. One of the issues that we have here in Southern Nevada is water. Now, I've heard that there's a couple things being proposed to actually bring water from the north down to the south. Are you in favor of that? And if so, how would you convince the north to do that?
This is something that I need to do more research on. I'm not really familiar too much about what's going on with the water. I need to get more versed in that before I can actually give you an answer.
Any other questions from the panel? Do we have any questions from the audience? Well, Victoria, thank you for your time. We appreciate your